Hello, Trev here. I'm just going to do a time to talk video on a really sad topic about suicide. And very, very sadly, a friend of mine, Chris Bird, who's a musician I used to live with for a short time, took his own life a few weeks ago. So I kind of want to make a video on this topic in tribute to him, but also just to sort of share a little bit about a topic that we don't talk about very much, which is suicide. So before I start, I just wanted to say that I've made a playlist of different topics of mental health. So I've done quite a few videos on mental health in the past. What is mental health? What is depression? Time to talk about grief, triggers, paranoia. So do check out the other videos in this series. And I've also obviously written about my experiences through my music of mental health issues. But the other thing just to kind of highlight straight away is charity support. So there are some really, really amazing charities that support people who are struggling with mental health, including Mind. And the one I want to just talk about a little bit is the Samaritans. If you want to call, 116 123, available 24 hours. The Samaritans are a really amazing charity who are there to listen, and they really do help. I've called them a couple of times myself. I know people that work at the Samaritans, and I think the Samaritans are a really, really top charity. There are other charities. So some of you might remember I did quite a bit of running. I ran along the River Thames for the Campaign Against Living Miserably, who are a charity who support particularly men at risk of suicide. So do look them up, Campaign Against Living Miserably, and they've got a newsletter. They've got sort of different support avenues. They're really, really good. And also I'm involved with a charity called A Band of Brothers. So I'm actually staffing a weekend at Peckwood this coming weekend for new men. And it's primarily focused on young men who are at risk in the criminal justice system, so people who are at risk of going to prison. But it sort of links so closely with mental health and distress, and indeed at its extreme, suicide, sadly. So do check those charities out. I have put links in the descriptions so you can kind of find out more about it. So if I just look at the World Health Organization, it says more than 720,000 people die by suicide every year, and suicide is most common in people who are between 15 and 29 years old, and that's probably where people don't talk about it enough as well, because I mean I make a lot of tuition videos, I teach in schools, and it's a little bit of a bit taboo, really, the subject in terms of talking about suicide to young people, but they do need to know about it. I think it's really vital that we talk about suicide to try and prevent it. There's lots and lots of factors in suicide, lots and lots of things that could go wrong in someone's life. I wrote a song called The Only One. So I've only been at mild risk of suicide, I think, when I get at my bleakest in my mental health journey. But the song The Only One, I can resonate with this feeling of you're the only one, the only kind of person with this problem. So I think the person that isolates themselves so much that they think whatever they're going through, whatever they're suffering, is so personal and unique. I mean, obviously everyone's situation is very personal and unique, but the fact that they can't connect with anyone else is in my view what unfortunately is kind of like the trigger point for a suicide. So I think connection is kind of the opposite of that. The person that's become so removed from being able to connect, it's generally people that are really unwell, so they've become so removed that they can't connect and feel like there's a way out, or indeed there's a way that they're not alone. They're not alone in this world. Like we're all sort of suffering together. Is my hopeful sort of counter arguments to the isolation. And it's really, really sad that my friend Chris Bird, who's lovely. He was a lovely musician in Oxford, played lots of bands, lots of social, sort of went it's lots and lots of gigs, supported the local music scene a lot. Has taken his own life. So, it really, really happens. This is really happening in the world. So yeah, I think I'm not going to say a lot more about that, but like I said, I've got a playlist and I've put some links in the description. And yeah, please do drop me a comment if you knew Chris, or if you know someone that's committed suicide, and you know, you're struggling to connect, then I do welcome messages. I'll probably signpost you onto someone that's better trained in this. But I have got experience of feeling that low, and yeah, you're not alone. You're not alone, and it's all too common, especially with people that are really sensitive and kind. And yeah. So Chris was a lovely guy, and yeah, I guess it's worth looking at these charities, and do support the charities by donating if you can. If you haven't really had a first-hand experience of someone that ill, yeah, look at the charities before you need them, I think is another thing. And Mind are a great charity. They probably work more with people who are less acutely affected, but suicide can be quite a quick thing. So I did bump into Chris not that many months ago, and he didn't seem that, you know, unwell. I wouldn't have known really. I wouldn't have known he was in such distress, but he has been suffering from mental health issues for quite a long while. And yeah, as I'm sure all of his friends and family think, we wish we could have done more. So hence me making a video. If there's any more mental health topics as well, please do let me know if there's anything you want to cover. I might talk a bit more about this topic at another point, but for the moment, I think that's probably enough. And yeah, love to Chris and Chris's family. And yeah, okay, see you. Bye-bye.